Have you ever noticed that some days, even simple tasks feel like climbing a mountain? Maybe you're feeling more tired than usual, or those little aches and pains seem to stick around longer. You might think, well, that's just part of getting older. But what if I told you there's something simple you could do today, something many of us overlook, that might just change the game for your health as you age? Let me ask you this. When was the last time you thought about your vitamin levels? I know. It sounds like one more thing to worry about. But here's the truth. There's one vitamin deficiency that's quietly linked to serious health risks after 65. In fact, research shows it's connected to a higher risk of early death in seniors. And the kicker? Most folks don't even realize they're lacking it. Now, before you start worrying, let me reassure you, this isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. Today, we're going to talk about what this vitamin is, why it's so vital for your health after 65, and how you can start fixing a deficiency today with simple, practical steps. No complicated diets, no expensive supplements, just straightforward, doable advice. Let's start at the beginning. The vitamin we're talking about is vitamin D. You've probably heard of it. It's the sunshine vitamin. But here's what you might not know. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at producing and absorbing vitamin D. And that's a problem. Because vitamin D isn't just about strong bones, though that's important too. It's like the conductor of an orchestra, keeping your immune system, heart health, and even your mood in harmony. When levels drop too low, it's like the music starts to fall apart. Think about it. Have you or someone you know struggled with frequent colds? Felt down or sluggish, even after a good night's sleep? Or maybe you've noticed your muscles feeling weaker than they used to? These could all be whispers from your body saying, hey, I need more vitamin D. Now, here's the tricky part. Unlike other vitamins, vitamin D isn't found in a wide variety of foods. Sure, fatty fish like salmon and fortified milk have it. But let's be honest, how many of us are eating salmon 3 times a week? And even if you are, here's the kicker. After 65, our skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. That daily walk around the block? It might not be enough anymore, especially if you live somewhere with long winters or spend a lot of time indoors. But here's the good news. This isn't a life sentence. In fact, the first step is simply knowing, and now you do. So let's talk about how to spot a deficiency. The signs can be subtle. Maybe you've been feeling more tired than usual, or your joints have been stiffer in the morning. You might chalk it up to aging, but it's worth asking your doctor for a simple blood test. I'll share exactly what to ask for later, but for now, just know that awareness is half the battle. Now, let's talk about why this matters so much. Studies show that seniors with low vitamin D levels are more likely to develop heart issues, weakened immune systems, and even conditions like osteoporosis. But here's what really caught my attention. Researchers found that correcting a vitamin D deficiency can add years to your life, and more importantly, life to your years. Imagine feeling stronger, more energized, and more resilient against everyday bugs. That's the power of this one simple fix. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but I take a daily multivitamin. Isn't that enough? Here's the thing. Most multivitamins don't contain enough vitamin D to meet the needs of seniors. The general recommendation for adults over 65 is 800 to 1,000 U per day, but many of us need even more, especially if we're already deficient. And that's where personalized care comes in. But don't worry, we'll walk through this together, step by step. Let's start with sunlight, the most natural source. Now, I'm not suggesting you bake in the sun for hours. Just 10 to 15 minutes of midday sun exposure, a few times a week, can make a difference. But here's the catch. If you're using sunscreen, which you should for longer outings, or if you have darker skin, your body produces less vitamin D. That's why many of us need to combine sunlight with other sources. Which brings us to food. Now, I'm not here to tell you to overhaul your diet. Small tweaks can add up. For example, swapping your morning cereal for fortified oatmeal or adding a handful of mushrooms. They're one of the few veggies with vitamin D to your omelet. And if you enjoy fish, even canned tuna or sardines once a week can give you a boost. But let's be real, food alone might not cut it. That's where supplements come in, but we'll dive deeper into that soon. Now, before we go further, I want to address the elephant in the room. Supplements can feel overwhelming. How much is too much? Which brand is best? Do you need a prescription? These are all great questions, and I promise we'll cover them. But for now, just remember this. You're not alone in this. Millions of seniors are navigating the same questions, and with a little guidance, you can find what works for you. Let's take a breath. We've covered a lot already: why vitamin D matters, how to spot a deficiency, and simple ways to start boosting your levels. But here's what I want you to take away. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Maybe today, you'll decide to spend an extra 5 minutes in the garden. Or perhaps you'll jot down a note to ask your doctor about testing at your next appointment. Small steps lead to big changes. Now, in the next part, we'll talk about how to get tested, what your lab results really mean, and how to choose the right supplement without breaking the bank. We'll also tackle some surprising sources of vitamin D you might not have considered, including one that's probably sitting in your fridge right now. So stay with me, because the best part? Once you've got this sorted, you'll be amazed at how much brighter life can feel. Until then, why not open those curtains and let a little sunshine in? Your body and your future self will thank you. You know, I've got this little fern here that my granddaughter gave me. Every morning, I give it just a bit of water, not too much, not too little. And you know what? It's thriving. It struck me that our bodies aren't so different. A little consistent care, tailored to what we need, can make all the difference. Speaking of which, let's talk about how to know exactly what your body needs when it comes to vitamin D. Remember how we mentioned getting tested? Let's break that down. If you're thinking, how do I even ask my doctor about this? Don't worry, it's simpler than you think. At your next checkup, just say, I've heard vitamin D is important for seniors. Could we check my levels? They'll know exactly what you mean. The test is a quick blood draw, like any routine lab work. And here's the key: ask for your 25-hydroxy vitamin D level. That's the number that really tells the story. Now, when you get those results back, don't let the numbers intimidate you. Here's the scoop. Most experts say seniors should aim for a level between 30 and 50 nanograms per milliliter. If you're below 30, you're deficient, and that's where we need to take action. But even if you're in the low normal range, say 20 to 30, you might still benefit from a boost. Think of it like filling up a gas tank. You don't want to ride on almost empty, right? Which brings us to supplements. Now, I know these little bottles can be confusing. D2 or D3, 500 IU or 5,000. Let's simplify. Vitamin D3, that's the one you want. It's the same form your body makes from sunlight, and studies show it's better at raising your levels. As for dosage, most folks over 65 need at least 800 to 1,000 IU daily. But if you're already deficient, your doctor might recommend a higher dose temporarily, like 2,000 or even 5,000 IU for a few weeks to play catch up. Here's a pro tip. Take your vitamin D with a meal that has some healthy fat, avocado, nuts, or even a drizzle of olive oil on veggies. Why? Because vitamin D is fat-soluble, meaning your body absorbs it better when there's a little fat present. And don't sweat the brand too much. Look for a reputable company, but you don't need the priciest one on the shelf. In fact, some of the most affordable options work just as well. Now, let's tackle the big question. Can you get too much? Absolutely. Vitamin D is like that fern. Too much water drowns it. Extremely high doses over time can cause problems like kidney stones or calcium buildup. But here's the good news. It's hard to overdo it accidentally. Most cases of overdose come from taking massive amounts, like 50,000 IU daily for months. Stick with your doctor's advice, and you'll be just fine. Now, let's talk about a secret weapon you might already have in your fridge. Remember how I said mushrooms are one of the few veggies with vitamin D? Here's the kicker. If you leave them in the sunlight for just 30 minutes before cooking, they'll produce even more vitamin D. It's like they're doing the work for you. Try tossing them on a sunny windowsill while you prep the rest of your meal. Oh, and here's another surprise. Egg yolks. If your eggs come from chickens that roamed outside, those yolks pack a vitamin D punch. Look for cartons labeled pasture-raised. Of course, I'm not saying you need to eat mushrooms and eggs every day. But isn't it nice to know nature gives us these little boosts? And for those days when cooking feels like a chore, here's an easy fix: fortified foods. Check your orange juice carton or cereal box. Many are pumped with vitamin D. Just keep an eye on added sugars, especially in cereals. A small glass of fortified OJ with breakfast can be a tasty way to start your day right. Now, let's address something important. Supplements aren't a magic pill. They work best when paired with smart habits. Remember that midday sunlight we talked about? Pair it with a short walk. Not only will you soak up some rays, but movement also helps your bones use that vitamin D more effectively. It's a double win. And if mobility's a challenge, even sitting by an open window while you read or sip tea can help. I know this might feel like a lot to juggle, but here's the truth. Once you get into a rhythm, it becomes second nature, like taking your morning medication or watering that plant. And the payoff? Imagine having the energy to play with your grandkids without feeling wiped out, or gardening all spring without your knees protesting. That's the power of taking charge of your vitamin D. Before we wrap up this part, here's your homework, and don't worry, no grades involved. First, jot down one small change you'll try this week. Maybe it's adding mushrooms to your grocery list, or setting a reminder to take your supplement with breakfast. Second, if you haven't had your levels checked in the past year, write "Ask Doctor about Vitamin D Test" on a sticky note for your fridge. Small actions, big impact. We've covered a lot today: testing, supplements, sneaky food sources. But here's what I want you to remember. You're not just fixing a deficiency. You're investing in a stronger, more vibrant version of yourself. And in the next part, we'll talk about how to keep this momentum going. Simple ways to track your progress, adjust as needed, and even how your other daily habits can supercharge your vitamin D efforts. Until then, why not raid your fridge and see what vitamin D treasures you can find? And if you've already started making changes, share your wins in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. Remember, every little step adds up. You've got this. You know, my neighbor Margaret, bless her, told me last week, getting older isn't for the faint of heart, is it? And we both had a good laugh. But here's what I told her. It's also not something we have to face alone. Every small choice we make, like those we've talked about, adds up to something bigger. So let's finish strong and talk about how to keep this vitamin D journey going, so you can feel your best for years to come. First, let's chat about tracking your progress. If you've started taking supplements or tweaking your diet, how do you know it's working? Simple. Follow up with your doctor. Most folks retest their vitamin D levels after 3 to 6 months. Think of it like checking the oil in your car. You want to make sure everything's running smoothly. And if your numbers have improved, celebrate that win. If not, no worries. It just means we adjust the plan. Maybe a slight dose increase, or adding another food source. Flexibility is key. Now, here's something you might not expect. Vitamin D doesn't work alone. It's like the lead singer in a band. It needs backup. Enter calcium and magnesium. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, which keeps bones strong, while magnesium helps activate vitamin D. So if you're not getting enough of these teammates, you're missing the full benefits. But don't overcomplicate it. A handful of almonds, hello, magnesium. With yogurt, calcium. As a snack covers both. Small swaps, big rewards. Speaking of teamwork, let's talk about your daily habits. Did you know that regular walks don't just boost vitamin D? They also strengthen muscles, which helps prevent falls. And here's a fun fact. Stress management matters too. Chronic stress can actually lower vitamin D levels over time. So that morning cup of tea on the porch, it's not just relaxing, it's strategic. Pair it with deep breathing, and you're fighting stress and deficiency in one go. Now, a word about medications. Some common ones, like steroids or certain weight loss drugs, can interfere with vitamin D absorption. If you're taking prescriptions long-term, mention your supplements to your doctor. They'll help you balance things out. Knowledge is power, and your care team wants you armed with it. Let's address the elephant in the room. Life gets busy. You might forget a supplement here or skip a walk there. That's okay. This isn't about being perfect. Try keeping your vitamin D pills next to your coffee maker or toothbrush, somewhere you'll see them daily. Or set a phone reminder labeled Sunshine Time for a quick walk or window break. Consistency beats perfection every time. Now let's tie this all together. We've talked about testing, supplements, smart foods, and lifestyle tweaks. But here's the heart of it. You're taking charge of your health in a way that's sustainable. No drastic overhauls, just mindful steps. And the payoff? More energy for grandkids' birthdays. More strength for tending your roses. More resilience against those winter colds. That's what this is really about, living fully on your terms. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Aging isn't about decline. It's about refinement. Like a good wine or a well-loved book, you've got layers of wisdom and strength. Nourishing your body with vitamin D? It's just one way to honor the journey. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one small change you'll try this week? Maybe it's testing your levels, adding mushrooms to your shopping list, or simply opening the curtains wider each morning. Your stories inspire all of us here. And if you found this helpful, pass it along. Share it with a friend who'd benefit. We're all in this together. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. It helps us create more content that empowers you to thrive at any age. Remember, every sunrise is a new chance to invest in yourself. Here's to your health, your strength, and the vibrant life you're building, one sunbeam, one step, one day at a time.